Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Seedery. This is episode 530. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
KC, how are we?
Tell me, well, I already know how you feel about this NFL draft. I'm going to keep it real with you. I couldn't care less. And I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way. I just couldn't care less about the NFL draft. I'm here to talk ball. Baseball specifically. You know, we can't all agree on everything, but I think we can agree on baseball. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I admittedly don't know college ball enough to really have like a strong opinion about the draft. Especially when like your team's like kind of middle of the road, or even like good teams, just because like you're not in the top 10, maybe you're on the outskirts of the top 10 and you're like, I'm not digging to know who like the 5th ranked quarterback is, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's plus the quarterback pool looked kind of light this year, and that's always like the crowd pleaser. It's when you have good quarterbacks, like that's when people pay attention. But like, I don't know. I'm not. There's only so much room up here. There's only so much capacity. There's only so much storage space. There's only so many megabits per second operating up here.
Boom.
And I don't got time right now. So I'll read about it tomorrow maybe, but I'll stop looking after the top 10, like the top first 10 picks. I'm not going to.
I feel that. I
don't know.
Let's talk some baseball.
Sure, that's our
Let's
sport.
talk some ball. We can all agree on baseball. Well, I think we can also agree that there are some elite arms around the league struggling. And I'm just going to go ahead and preface it by saying this. I think you're going to be surprised at my optimism in this particular segment. I've turned a page.
I'm not feeling overly optimistic today, so this is going to be a good balance today, I think.
I've turned a page. I'm trying to be more optimistic about these things. And I know for the people that have been listening for some time, been watching for some time, to say you guys are awfully pessimistic when it comes to certain guys or certain
I'm
teams.
going to be honest. I think people like that. I think they do.
We're just trying to keep it real, you know? Like we're trying to call it like it is. We're not trying to pander. We're not trying to play to people's excessive optimism. We're just trying to call it like we see it, and sometimes we just see it a little more negatively at times. But with that said, Nate, let's talk about your favorite guy, Edwin Diaz. Was actually pulled from the game the other night.
What night was that?
This was, what's today? Thursday? Wednesday? No. Wednesday. Yeah. It was the extra inning game between the Phillies. Sort of.
Wasn't.
I'm not going to, I was just going to say, I'm not going to say an exclamation point on a rough start, because at the end of the day, the reality of it is Edwin Diaz is really only, if you look at the game logs, he's only had probably 2, maybe 3 rough outings, 2 of which really kind of screwed him up. But when the sample size is what it is, it's going to make things look a little bit worse than they really are, obviously. And you might say, well, isn't this just what you'd call your old-fashioned overreaction? And some might say that it is. But as I feel like I've alluded to before, at this point in the season, it's all we have to go off of. And all we have to go off of with Edwin Diaz is the fact that his numbers don't look great. And another thing I'd like to say on Edwin Diaz, and this isn't to make light of his what I think ultimately ended up being like a cramp or something that he had to work out, is that all I can really say is they need to ban the World Baseball Classic. Clearly, this is the World Baseball Classic's fault. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Edwin Diaz, for some reason, I can't think of anything else when I hear the name Edwin Diaz anymore other than the injury that he sustained celebrating in the World Baseball Classic. And people said, this is why we need to cancel the World Baseball Classic. As if that's the only time that guys get hurt.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy. But you're a huge Edwin Diaz. You're a huge Timmy Trumpets, huge Mets guy. Where's your panic meter with Edwin Diaz?
Are we talking this year or last year? Because he's washed. I'm out. I was out last year. I'm still out. I think if we were to go back to the Trumpets and set a date, I'm wondering what ERA looks like from there. I don't know what that specific date is.
Let's dig around. Are you saying like when the Trumpets made their debut?
I don't know. I don't know what that specific date is, but I can tell you that it was like.
Well, let's talk this through, because I may be able to figure this out on the fly here. Are we saying when the first walkout was debuted, or when Timmy Trumpets made his official appearance to the park? Because I think we're talking two separate dates here.
I'll take Timmy Trumpets.
Timmy Trumpets, okay.
Yeah, I think that's a safe, because it like solidifies what this is. Look, I'm not a hater on the walkout. I'm not a hater on having fun. I'm not a hater on closers having entrance songs.
That was 2022.
It's happening. It was 3 years ago.
No, guy, 2022. Is that 4 years ago? Is that how math works?
No, I don't think you can count this year yet, because the year hasn't been completed.
Well, the season.
I'm just going 5 minus 2. That's
2022 season, 2023 season, 2024 season, we're in the 2025 season. So that's almost 4 years. Is that how that works? I don't know. That's crazy.
That doesn't add up. I don't think that's accurate.
So,
that's when he really came out and did that?
I just counted on my fingers.
I hate that.
Doesn't make me feel any younger. I know.
All right. Well, then
sorry, continue.
Maybe that date doesn't go as far back. But here's my thing, dude. Like, the reason I asked about when he got pulled, because Monday against the Phillies comes in a 5-1 ball game and barely sneaks out of there with a 5-4 save.
We were on the call when that game was going on. If I recall.
I'm like, what? What are we? He's washed. I don't know what else to say. I don't think he's very good. I think he's lost his stuff. I think it also really, truly, genuinely sheds light on the closer role being probably one of the 3 hardest roles in the entire game.
It's so volatile. Like it's insane. More now than ever, I feel like, to your point. It's crazy how hard pressed you are to find a closer that is consistent year to year. I mean, maybe with the exception of a couple guys, one or two of which are in this conversation we're having right now of not being consistent.
Sure, but I mean, like that's why we have these names. Like that's why you have Mo. That's why you have Trevor Hoffman. That's why you have Joe Nathan. You have like a group of
Craig Kimbrell to a point.
7 to 10 names. Even Craig Kimbrell. Like, look, I don't miss Aroldis Chapman at all. He's looking good so far for Boston this year. But like, I think we got to put some respect on the overall career that Aroldis Chapman has had. All the off the field stuff, different conversation. Blown saves, smiling after a walk-off home run, like all of that stuff put aside. If we look at like the straight numbers of Aroldis Chapman, it's like he's going to be remembered as one of the most dominant closers of all time. And that's with all of this stuff. That's with all of these different jerseys that he's worn over the last few years, right? Like, it just shows how hard this position is. And that's where going back to Edwin Diaz, that's where I started to struggle. When it becomes such a show and there's such a production and it's so manufactured, when in reality you haven't done it that long, I'm not surprised baseball gods are like, yeah, you're about done. You're washed.
Well, I let me get out ahead of you.
You're feeling optimistic, so feel free to throw that out there.
I don't want you to say something that's going to come back. Somebody's going to, not that you care, but
I don't care.
I know. I don't read
anything anyway.
I'm trying to save you from saying something about Edwin Diaz that's going to not age all that well. Because, and I say that because, like I mentioned, two or three-ish rough outings for April 9th, April 11th. 5 appearances since then. Am I seeing it? No, not since then, but over his last 5 games, rather. He's thrown 5 1/3. He's only given up 1 earned run, 2 hits, 2 walks, and he's had 10 strikeouts. Hitters are slashing 118, 211, 294 against. So, again, as a whole, numbers don't look great on the year, but the sample size is only 11 games. But again, that's all we have to go off of. But even more so, recency plays into has some effect here. He looks like he's righted the ship. So maybe not.
I get it, man. Like I don't think he lives up to the hype. I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he is an elite closer. I don't feel comfortable putting him in that category. And that the Timmy Trumpets, the walkout, like the production, the attention almost requires you to be elite in my mind. Does that make sense? All of that.
I would agree with you if you said that maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but with almost, we talked about the closer entrances
Just
and everything.
everyone having
with that,
it.
with that becoming more commonplace, it's less of a factor for me. Maybe not others, maybe not for you, but for me, it's less of a thing. But I understand what you're saying.
I think that's where the disconnect is for me. And it's purely just a gut thing. It's not numbers. I don't know. The Mets are kind of an anomaly right now as far as the pitching goes anyway.
We're going to get into that.
So, I could be eating my words here in a couple months, but overall, like I do think it's going to come back down to earth a little bit. And at the same time, I don't know, man. Like, closers are mentally just a little different. It's just a little different. And I get that there can be this buy-in with the team. Hey, we snuck out a dub, barely got out with a win there, like that kind of thing. That feels like a W in the win column, but like in the column of the closer, that don't sit the same way. And that's what makes those guys, the elite ones, just so different.
That's a good point. Let's hop across town. Yankees closer Devin Williams. I think with Diaz, it's a thing. Like I mentioned, a couple rough goes, but with Devin Williams, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seems good. It just seems like actually not good right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
It's not just a sample size issue. It's just he doesn't have the stuff right now.
It didn't look good in spring training. It has not looked good at all to the start of the regular season. He came out with some semi-questionable quotes a few days ago talking about, there was a little jab about maybe throwing his changeup too much. and that we need to work on that.
Who's this coming from?
Devin Williams.
The media?
No, there's a soundbite out there. Of him saying,
like collectively as a team, the
Yeah.
Yankees, we need to like work on. I got you. Okay.
He's like kind of lost for words. He goes, I don't know. I think maybe we're using the changeup too much, and we need to address that. Something like that.
Keep that behind closed doors. Like, come on, what are we doing?
And that's, those are probably conversations that someone's going to have with him. Probably Judge, probably front office. I don't know. But let's face it, like, this is like a big factor that fans don't think of, is that pitching philosophies don't always align. And that's why you have names that are with organizations that just don't do anything. And all of a sudden they land with one pitching coach or one organization. And then all of a sudden stuff gets figured out. A lot like the Yankees' last closer, Clay Holmes, right? He's a nobody with the Pirates. All of a sudden they see something in his metrics and they're like, let's just bear down on this sinker and let's use this. And then he had success and he started to become a household name, right? It's hard to say. Devin Williams, one place for so long, not a whole lot of spotlight in Milwaukee, didn't have the best taste in his mouth at the end of last season because we saw how his season ended.
Bro, did Pete Alonso break Devin Williams?
That's a valid question. It's a valid question. So it's interesting. It really is. It's interesting I'm wondering. I don't know. I think what's great about this move is the fact that Luke Weaver is there and that we've obviously seen him take up that role and do it well. But there's philosophies, man. It's just like sometimes it doesn't align. And Boone is very big on like these weird out alignments. A lot of times it's like, I'm going to bring you in to get one out in the eighth and then come back out for the ninth. I'm going to bring you in with guys on. And there's certain pitchers that do well with that, and there's certain that don't. And so I don't know if there's enough sample size to go off of here, but so far, yeah, it has looked awful. Awful.
You mentioned Luke Weaver, and I'm 90 to 95% sure I said this when the Yankees brought in Devin Williams. But I'm not going to say no. Like if my team's like, hey, let's go out and get Devin Williams, I'm not going to be like, no, let's keep it in house. Let's work with what we've got. Like, yeah, I'll take Devin Williams. But I hate to say it, I really liked what I saw from Luke Weaver last year. I feel like he's got not the quirkiness is a requirement to be a closer, but it helps. And he's
definitely got that.
He's got that,
and like a lot of confidence.
Yeah, but
like
it doesn't come out in the traditional way. It's like
weird. He's like a weird cool kid.
Yeah, I don't want to say quiet confidence because I don't think that applies here. But you're right. He's got like a confidence that you definitely see, and that plays in that kind of role. And the fact that he was able to succeed in that market speaks volumes. But to your point, I think it's good that they've got him. Like they've got a possible backup situation in Luke Weaver. They don't have to look very far to find that.
And that's like my biggest concern with what the Yankees do. And my biggest concern is that like how much of this is going to be forced because of Cashman making this move, because of it being a rental, versus Boone just saying, hey, it's just a rental. We don't have to prove anything to this guy. Like if he wants a role, he needs to perform. And if he sucks this year, then we let him walk in the offseason. Like, we don't lose anything. So we might as well get the best version out of him. But again, what Boone likes to do with bringing in inning and a half, inning and a third type guys, Luke Weaver thrives in that, to get out of a jam, come like he'll mop up a seventh, come in, close out the eighth, and then Devin Williams will come in the ninth. So like in reality, it'd be great if someone stepped into that sixth inning role. Fernando Cruz looks really good, by the way. That guy's a stud. So He's the one that they got from the Reds. So I could see maybe a little something with that at some day, but I don't know.
What we do know about Devin Williams right now, average fastball velo is down. Pitches in the zone is up. His swing and miss stuff is down. Swing and strike rate down. Not getting as many chases. Just not what we've seen from him in years past. Giving up more solid contact. It's just not what we think of when we think of Devin Williams. And I mean, you're the Yankee guy. I don't know what the panic meter is at with this guy, but like I said, even a guy like Edwin Diaz, who you're kind of out on anyway, I feel like the panic meter isn't as high for him, given the, again, couple starts here or there that really ballooned up his numbers. But it just doesn't seem like Devin Williams has it right now. So I would almost argue that this is more concerning than an Edwin Diaz situation.
Oh, I agree. And the fact that, like, again, Edwin Diaz has been like established in New York market, whereas Devin Williams hasn't. So that's an added factor. I agree. Panic meter is pretty high.
I mean, on the year right now, nine outings for Devin Williams, an ERA of 7.88. He's got a whip of 2.125.
That's not good.
Only 8 strikeouts.
That's not good.
That's not good. Another guy that's been struggling mightily. Very comparable numbers, actually, like almost identical. Emmanuel Clase on the year's got a 7.84 to Devin Williams 7.88. His whip is 2.226 to Devin Williams, actually lower, 2.125. And again, these numbers that we're sharing, this is coming into Thursday, so I don't know who of these names are even playing today.
Not a whole lot of games today, so
yeah, wasn't too many.
We're
but
safe.
This is coming into Thursday. Not to mention Class A's Ks per 9, 7.8. His ERA, his whip, and his strikeout per 9, worst marks in his career across the board. So another situation where it just doesn't have it. And I almost want to say that I feel like Class A is getting the most, I don't say heat, but like most, like the brunt of the conversation, most of the brunt of the discussion surrounding these back end guys that have been struggling, and for good reason, I guess, because there for how long he was the most dominant ninth inning guy in baseball, at least
talk about
2-3+ years.
Well, I mean, talk about playoff home runs that could break them. You know, what Pete Alonso did to Devin Williams, what Stanton and Judge did to Class A.
And not to mention, was that Detroit? Was that Kerry Carpenter?
Mm-hmm.
Was that who that was in the Detroit series?
He got after him twice, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah. I think it was either Carpenter or Riley Green. I can't remember.
I think it was Kerry Carpenter.
I think it was too. Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, like, luckily, similar sentiment that like the Yankees have Luke Weaver as a fallback. Like Cade Smith, I was in the camp, and I'll bring this back up because these could be words that I eat later down the road. I think Cleveland has the best bullpen in baseball, and I said that during our hot takes episode because Class A and Cade Smith got Cy Young votes last year. 2 relievers. And now we're seeing Cade Smith just like step into this role, no problem, do what he needs to do, and he's closed down games. So that's good. That's a good safety net. But like,
Well, he's dealing with something too, which I feel like is
shoulder
kind
issue?
of he's like shoulder discomfort. This tweet from Zach Meisel, he said, when asked Tuesday night if Emmanuel Clase was healthy, Stephen Vogt said yes, but that the club wanted to give him a second straight day off. Today, meaning yesterday, Wednesday, today, Vogt revealed Clase had shoulder discomfort after his outing Sunday, played catch today, and his availability is TBD. So not what you want to hear. But, I mean, I guess it's mildly comforting to know that maybe some of the issues he's been dealing with is directly correlated or directly tied to this issue.
Yeah.
And that maybe once he gets back as close to 100% as he can on the fly, that maybe we get back to vintage Clase. But tell you what, man, between these three guys,
It's hard to manage. It's really hard to manage because you don't know, like, if you bring them out of that role, is their confidence gone forever? If you bring them in a non-save situation, can you expect the same intensity? If they give up runs in that situation, does it rock their confidence even more? Or do you continue to put them in save situations and you continue to see them blow saves? There's like no right answer. It's just each guy's different. This is where I'd be really grateful if my manager was a former catcher and a manager of the year. Stephen Vogt knows what he's doing, and they're going to be fine. I'd be a little nervous. Panic meter, I'm going to go Devin Williams, the most panic.
Give me out of 10, 10 being the highest. Give me your panic meter for each guy. Each of these three.
I'm at a 7-9 for Devin Williams, which is pretty high for we're not even in May. I'm at a 7-1 for Edwin Diaz. And I'm at like a 6-4.
Okay, for Clase. Yeah, I was going to say closer to the middle on Clase. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, like I said, I know the closer position is so hit or miss. It can be so wish-washy, but you're not the best closer in baseball for consecutive years, and then just have this bad of a fall off. He's just off to a slow start. Yeah. I'm not concerned in the least for Clase long term.
We did have a chat comment earlier, and it was a really good point. Is that like you just don't see longevity out of these roles. Like 4 or 5 years is like impressive,
which really makes what Mariano did. I mean, Mike, how do you do
it's
that?
Just crazy with like one main pitch.
That's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah.
But we already know this. This is nothing new. We already know how dominant Mo was. Yeah. Speaking of dominance, let's talk about these Mets, the best in baseball, the best in all of baseball, New York Mets. 18-7 coming into Thursday, best record in baseball, fresh off a sweep of the Phillies. Went 7-0 on their homestand. By the way, the Mets are crushing at Citi Field.
Yeah, 12-1.
12-1 at home to start the year. Best home start in franchise history. Can I just be honest? I'm really tempted to say we know how this story ends, but I've said that the last year or two. And sure, it didn't result in a World Series, but that's kind of a cop-out for me to be like, well, we know how the story ends when the odds are already slim to be the last team standing. I understand that. So, I mean, I don't really know what my barrier or like what I chalk up as a failure of a season for the Mets, really. I mean, I guess missing the postseason. But I can't really say anything right now because they're just playing out of their minds. So as like sound bitey as it might be for me to say, well, we know how the story ends. Mets are going to Met like they always do. I said that last year, and I'm pretty sure I said that the year before. And, you know, the results are, I guess, better at the end of it when it comes time to really look at how the season went. maybe than I had predicted it would go. But I don't know. It's a confusing.
I'm on the fence too.
It's a confusing situation.
I'm on the fence because, like, on one side, and I say this because I say this with a grain of salt. That grain of salt is like, you're supposed to beat these teams, but they've had the Marlins twice, they've had the Blue Jays, they've had the Twins, they've had the Cardinals. So, like, again, you're supposed to beat these teams. We can't hold that against them. Their pitching looks really good, but, like, is that going to last the whole year?
Well, say what you will about Frankie Montas. I could go either way, whatever. But Sean Manaea still being on the IL is certainly a factor here, and
like,
it's something that
Clay
you can
Holmes
at least
look
look
good,
forward
but
to.
like, you got to assume there's an innings limit at some point. I don't know if there's a limit that they've come out and said they're going to have for him, but you're just going to reach a certain point in innings where he's going to get tired. Senga, good. We know that.
He's a great.
Yeah, we know that. Tyler McGill, overperforming, or is this Tyler McGill? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man. That's an interesting case because I mean he's been around the block a few times now. Like, he's been in the league for a good little bit, it seems, and he's had his moments. Like, he's had, and I say, I laugh because I feel like I know this strictly from like a fantasy perspective because I feel like that's a name that I've like tinkered with adding before. But this was like seasons ago.
Yeah.
So it tells me that there's something there. He just had, it's a matter of consistency with him. And that's the case with everybody, obviously. But
that's what I'm saying. I'm on the fence. And like, at the same time, like, you haven't even gotten like full swing Soto yet.
That's
like,
what
he hasn't really hit his stride yet. Lindor looks good.
You haven't gotten anything from the outfield. Brandon Nimmo's been bad. So like you said, Soto's been
Pete hitting what, 340 something right now? Like, that's crazy, but like, you got to assume that's going to come down. It's like a career 280 hitter.
Yeah, but I think impact as a whole, you can assume is going to not fall too far from where it's at. He'll figure out other ways. Like, he's still going to hit for power. He's going to drive in runs.
He's still going to hit 30. He's still going to pop 30. He's still going to score. He's still probably going to drive in at least 90. Like, I don't think, and now with Soto, you can bump that up over 100. Like, he's very much a 3,100 guy. I don't disagree. I'm on the fence.
This just seems, and I'm not talking like end of season outlook here, but for maybe we'll just call it like the midway point. If they can sort of keep up what they're doing for the next few weeks, or we'll just say next couple weeks, and then you start to get some more production out of these guys like a Soto, like a Nimmo, and maybe Pete cools off a little bit. It's a classic baseball scenario where, you know, you got this half of the lineup or this group of guys carrying the weight, and then
it's rare that the whole lineup's clicking at once.
Right. And when that finally gives way, it's going to flip flop. You're going to have Soto just tearing the cover off the ball because you know that's coming. Yeah. And I think that's going to spark the rest of the lineup in some way, shape, or form. So
I agree. And we've talked about it all the time. Like, you got to load up wins, man. Like, you got to store all these wins up.
Exactly.
Like, there's going to be a little bit of a regress at some point. I don't know. I'm worried about how much of a fall it would be because, like, everyone and their mother has come into this season saying the Mets pitching does not look deep enough to do what they did last year. I think they're overachieving at the moment, but like, I don't see everyone being wrong about that. I think there's going to be a big regression in the pitching department. I think they're going to continue to hit. And you'll have guys that show up in a Nimmo and a Soto, like that's going to happen. They're going to be fine. I think, I'd probably have a little nervous about Vientos. Francisco Alvarez is like right around the corner from coming back. He's going through rehab starts. So like,
Mets got the lowest team ERA in baseball, 2.34.
Let's be real. Is that
8th lowest WHIP?
Is that their story? Is that what they're going to be this year? Like, I don't even think a Met fan would die on that hill.
3rd most strikeouts in baseball as a staff, 239. Dodgers coming in at 242 in second, and the Phillies with 246 in first.
No.
That's a good point, though. That's a good point. Is this going to be a situation where that comes down to earth? It ends up being a situation where they end up being what we thought they would from a pitching point of view, or is this a situation where you've got a team that sort of leans into that a little bit and says, all right, and, got the classic bulletin board material. They ride that wave as best they can throughout the course of the season. And we are looking at a team that's got one of the better staffs in baseball when it's all said and done at the end of the year.
I'm interested to see if Soto is going to start having fun, because it just doesn't look like he's having a lot of fun right now. It doesn't look like
No.
Like, for a guy that's very charismatic in the way he plays, it just doesn't look like he's has fun. I don't know. We said that about Lindor too, by the way, because he was Mr. Smile in Cleveland, and then it took a little while to kind of like.
Yeah, but then who was it? I saw or read recently that. Forgive me, I'm forgetting which. I think it was one of the coaches. Basically called him out and was like, dude, you've been kind of a no-show. And he talked about, I read how it sort of was a wake-up call for him. He's like, I need to lock in. Like, I need to enjoy what I'm doing. I need to get back to the way I played the game. And I'm sure part of that was getting back to having fun, because to your point, Mr. Smile, that's what he was known for. And that's when he was at his best, when he was just going out there and having a grand old time. He wasn't doing that to start the year, and I think it showed. But now that guy's been dialed in. Mm-hmm. Dialed in.
You just wonder if there's a lot of things are different for Juan Soto right now. So I think he'll be fine. I think he's gonna hit. I'm just kind of worried about, I don't know, weird comments so far, slow start. I don't know. This is what puts me on the fence about the Mets. I just don't know.
Dude, do you have MLB Network on right now?
No, surprisingly. TV blank. What do we got?
What just happened on this Wyatt Langford play in left field? Dude lost the ball. They're in Sacramento.
Yeah, I was going to say they're playing the A's,
which
right?
speaks probably to the lack of visibility above a certain point. But oh my goodness.
All good.
That looked ugly. Poor guy.
Bro hits the snot out of the ball, so.
We're good. Yeah, they'll probably. I mean, DeGrom's on the bump. They'll probably be fine. Anyway, all right. Let's get into it, Nate. Let's blast some credit. The credit cannon makes its return. I'm excited to start with this guy, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think I was. It took a lot for me to come around on this guy, and I'm hoping that for his sake and for the team's sake, I'm hoping it keeps up. But let's show some love to P. Crow Armstrong. P. Crow Armstrong, according to OptaStats, so far this year for the Cubs, 5 homers, 10 stolen bases, 15 extra base hits. He's the first player in MLB history to reach those marks before the end of April. According to MLB Deadline News on Twitter, P. Crow's Armstrong 162 game pace, 31 homers, 105 RBIs, 130 runs scored, 62 swipes, and 11.2 F4.
Cubs are going right now, dude.
And not to mention 5 homers on the year, 4 of which being against the Dodgers.
Cubs look good.
Cubs
look good.
Real good.
And everyone seems to be playing good ball. And it's like, it seems like a good fit. You like to see guys just being able to be themselves. And he is for sure just being himself, man. He's a fan favorite. They're playing good ball. And I've said this before, but like, if you can have a good April in Chicago offensively and not have to dig out of a hole, and when summer hits and the wind starts blowing out, like, I know you just routed off those 162 numbers, but like, I don't think they're crazy. This kid's a freaking stud, man. There's a reason why they moved on from Bellinger.
That's a good point.
This kid's a stud.
And what you were saying about the Mets stacking wins early, same concept applies here for Pete Crow Armstrong in stacking this production that he's been putting forth thus far. Because to your point, it's ugly in Chicago in April. Like nobody wants to be in Chicago in April.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some people that never want to be in Chicago anyway. But to my point,
look, this is why I said this, and I didn't read the chat, but I don't know how you felt when we were talking about WBC and Team USA, and I was like, let's just have fun and throw this guy's name out there. Talk about a guy who will impact a baseball game somehow, some way. Elite defense, elite speed. He's going to find a way to impact the game. You can't bottle him up. And there's only so many names you can categorize. You have a Corbin Carroll. You have an Ellie De La Cruz. You have an O'Neal Cruz.
Bobby Wood Jr.
You have a Bobby Wood Jr. Am I missing anybody? That's about right. As far as like 5, well, I don't want to go crazy as 5 tools. But as
Fernando
far as
Tatis, man.
Yeah, like there's guys that you can't bottle up. What was that? You can't. A screw just fell out of my chair. You can't.
Dude's about to fall.
Yikes.
Dude's about to fall to the ground. Love it.
You can't bottle these guys up, man. Like they're going to impact the game somehow, some way. I like this kid a lot. And I like that, like, there's something about like a Craig Counsell who just looks as strict and white bread, boring baseball mentality as you could ever guess. But he somehow has these names that are a little bit more charismatic. And you look at the rest of this team of like a stoic Kyle Tucker and like a winner in Dansby Swanson. And you have like these names that like Seiya Suzuki seems to be like finally settling into American baseball. Like you have this mix and just everything seems to be going right. And the NL Central isn't that impressive. I think it's them and the Brewers, and I think there's a huge gap between the rest. The Brewers look pretty decent too. But like, anyway, back to PCA. Deserves the cannons. Great start. Put him in the Corbin Carroll category when you saw Corbin Carroll his rookie year. I think it's going to be very similar.
For the record, I'm not writing off the Reds just yet. I feel like I gave them their preseason props, and I'm not willing to eat that this early in the year. I mean, they're only a game under 500, so
it's fair.
There's a lot of mediocrity in baseball right now. Let's just call a spade a spade. Like there really is. There really is. Not entirely across the board, but good bit of mediocrity around baseball.
Pull that trigger.
A guy who's trying to bust out of mediocrity, Dylan Cruz, after being the last qualified hitter in all of Major League Baseball to record a hit to start the year, is now in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak. And let me actually check. Did they play today? They played today. Stand by. They beat the Nationals. Or excuse me, sorry. The Orioles beat the Nationals. but let's see if he bumped it up to 9. He broke it at 8. Still, credit to Dylan Cruz. 8-game hitting streak. During that streak, he had a double, 3 homers, 5 ribbies, 3 swipes, only 1 strikeout, an OPS of 1022. So you love to see that. He managed to walk in there as well, if I did mention that. But this is all you need. You're not going to be. Well, what did I say? He had 3 home runs, but I was going to say, like, you don't have to be jacking him out every single night to get back on track. And a guy like Dylan Cruz, who's going to hit for average, just needed to string together a nice little 8-game hitting streak. And I think hopefully for his sake, he's going to be back on track, because that's a guy that I'm excited about.
Should be. Yeah, I don't know if power is necessarily going to be his style, his game, especially in that ballpark. So he needs to figure out how to walk more and figure out how to get on base and, impact with speed, and hit for average. That's just got to be his game. So it's important for guys like this to at least have something to salvage by the end of the month. He's hitting 188. That's how rough of a start he had. So even after this hit streak, he's still hitting 188. You'd like to see this guy get over, like, if you can get over 200 once the calendar flips to May, like that feels like it's salvageable. If you see a 0.1 next to the batting average, I know, batting average doesn't matter. That does. When it's one of the biggest numbers up on the scoreboard every time you're walking over the box, that matters. So I hope you can salvage it, flip the calendar, keep this going, build some confidence. It's the reason he's the number 2 overall pick, man. He's good.
It's a hot take in the chat. Nationals will do the same thing with Cruz as they did with Soto. I'm going to choose to be positive with the Nationals. Like, at some point, they're going to have to figure out that they can't become what the Pirates are to baseball, just like the 29, a minor league, or like a funnel system for the rest of the league, like a feeder system. You can't survive that way. And I hope they come to terms with that. I hope they wake up to that reality.
I hope that they start giving legitimate contract offers and stop giving jokes of offers that are either way too late in the process or way underpriced and undervaluing that talent.
Is there another guy in that outfield, another young kid that you would like to see them maybe give a contract to? Just trying to cover off the ball right now.
Shares a similar name with Tiger.
Yeah, well, remind me.
Sir King James Wood.
James Wood absolutely mashing the baseball right now. He's got 8 homers on the year, which can you help me make sense of this? I'm not great with numbers. I mean, I'm good with numbers, but stuff like this confuses me. All right, so you've got Corbin Carroll as of right now, this moment. You've got Corbin Carroll, Cal Raleigh, Tyler Soderstrom with 9 home runs.
Okay.
It all says
who would have put that group together, by the way?
That's a great point. I just read that off as if that was completely normal, but
it's ridiculous names up there.
Stop and think one time, Corwin. My goodness.
Love baseball.
So they're tied for first. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Tommy Edman. Okay,
name.
I guess this makes sense. Tommy Edman, Fernando Tatis, Mike Trout, and James Wood have 8. And it's saying James Wood is tied for 4th. And that's 7 guys. I guess it makes sense.
If they have the same number.
In my mind, he's tied for 2nd most in the league. That's how my brain works. I know that probably isn't right, but if you have 8 and the leader and the 3 leaders have 9, aren't you just tied for the 2nd most? That's whatever. Don't listen to me.
No, you're right.
Clearly I should have went to school We can't be tied for second when there's 3 guys that have 9. Forget it. Forget I said anything. Anyway, James Wood. We'll die on this hill together. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to us. James,
so as long as there's a tie for first place, the rest of the guys will fall for the number of
correct
people tied at first.
Which, whatever, it makes sense. But in my head, James Wood's tied for second. Just go with it.
Stupid.
Just go with it.
He's
James Wood coming into Thursday has an OPS of 1208 in 7 games, again, coming into Thursday as a leadoff man. And not to mention has just been mashing for power. And this is I said this was coming. I'm pretty sure this was one of my guys. And I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, I found a diamond in the dirt here. But James Wood.
Throwback.
How about that? James Wood, like I was saying, people know that the talent that this guy offers, but I think people were on the fence about whether or not we were still a little early to the scene with this guy. But I think he's already shown again in April. Granted, it's a little more mild out here in DC than it is in like a Chicago for a Pete Crow Armstrong, but if you can get off to a start like this, man, and like we talked about, pad those numbers, rack up the homers, rack up the RBIs, whatever it is that you're trying to rack up. If you can do it this early in the season, it sets you up real nice for when you hit a little bit of a slide in June.
He gives me like the hands hitting gives me very much, oddly enough, Josh Bell.
Yeah.
Just very tight, close to the ear.
Yep.
And then almost like has like O'Neal Cruz type power and length. And like it just seems kind of effortless.
The fast twitch muscles with this guy, man. Like it's a sight to behold.
I was trying to find.
I need to get over there and watch
Savant for metrics, but yeah, no, definitely get over there because
I need to watch these 2 aforementioned names.
This kid looks good, man. This kid looks really, really good.
You know, that's actually a spot I've sat just about everywhere.
I've never been in that ballpark. I've never been.
We need to get you out here.
It looks great on TV. I feel like that sentiment isn't shared by many.
It's not.
When you're in person.
It's overrated.
It's weird.
It's overrated. I'll go because it's the closest, but it's relatively cookie cutter. So don't get all eager to get out here. But we do still need to get you out here for a game. That'd be fun. No, but what I was saying is I've sat just about everywhere in that park, but I don't think I've sat right there on the left field wall, like right there in those first few rows. That'd be a good spot to watch from.
Do you like left field, like literally left field, or are you talking like corner foul pole area?
No, like literally like right behind whoever's
right behind.
manning the real estate out there, like right behind. I've done that for right when Bryce was in town.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really sit in center, like dead center there, or any park for that matter. But left, well, based on a hitter eye situation, I guess we can say, but left at Nats Park. I need to make that happen.
I like left field. I do like being behind like a superstar outfielder. That's cool too.
Speaking of superstar,
bang.
Nick Pivetta. Yeah, you didn't expect that name to follow superstar, but he's pitching like one right now. Dude, have you seen the body work that this guy's put up?
Fill me in.
On the year, 4-1, an ERA of 1.20, a WHIP of .77, 30 Ks to just 7 walks. Listen to these game logs. First start of the year, 7 innings. Granted, it was against the Braves. So it doesn't really count. 7 innings, 4 Ks, no runs, just 1 hit. Next start was slop. The next start, 7 innings, 10 Ks, no earned runs. Next start, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. The next start, most recent start, 7 innings, no earned runs, 6 Ks. From Sammy Levitt on Twitter, if you remove Nick Pavetta's start on a frigid day in Chicago against the Cubs, 3 innings, 3 earned runs. Here are the totals from, again, you remove that start. Here are the totals from Pavetta's other 4 starts with the Padres. He's got a .33 ERA across 27 innings pitched, 1 earned run or 1 run, 10 hits, 26 Ks to 4 walks.
Do we need to talk about the Padres pitching staff?
I mean, we have, but it's worth reminding the folks that whatever's in the water out there in San Diego, at least in the from the pitching side of things,
hasn't even really got all things going yet.
Actually, what am I saying? Not just the pitching side. They're
playing great ball, but like
all around, yeah.
You can speak to him more. Like, is you've seen flashes of Nick Pavetta's success.
He will go on runs. I can't even say like this because I don't know if he's strung together a grouping of starts like this before. I mean, maybe he has. I'd have to go back and look. But I mean, he's pitching lights out right now. But drop it down a notch. He'll go on these runs where he's the best pitcher on your staff at any given point in time during these stretches.
And then he can be the worst.
Giving up home run after home run after home run, putting guys on traffic like no other.
Kind of sounds like Carlos Rodon. Less good starts, though.
The thing I've always loved about Nick Pivetta, though, is, minus a couple sound bites, because I think at one point he got all fussy about his role with the staff versus the pen and whatever. But when he's feeling it,
love those.
Dude is like when he's on it, he is a bulldog out there. Like he's gonna have his sound bites in the locker room after the game, whatever. But when he's dialed in on the mound and he's pitching well, good luck. Good luck.
I like that. I like what San Diego's got going on, man. Like, yeesh. Looks good. And just wait for Dylan Cease to start rolling.
Well, here's an interesting question.
Darvish coming back someday?
Maybe. Ever?
I got him stashed. I'm ready.
Man, I believe it. Here's an interesting question. You a bigger believer in the Mets right now, given their preseason expectations, or you a bigger believer in the Padres?
Padres.
Given their preseason expectations, because they were drastically different between the two.
Padres.
I think that's just your anti-Mets bias playing.
No, I think they're more balanced. Fair
enough. I can't argue with you there.
Yeah. More balanced. Better defense. Better pitching. There's names.
Papa John's.
Yeah. There's names there, man. Dylan Cease, proven. Michael King, legit. There's names in that staff. I
would love to have, and I think I said this when he was being floated around. I really wish we had Michael King. I really like Michael King.
Love Michael King.
Just seems like a dude you would love to have in your rotation.
Just nasty. A little crossfire action.
Gross.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Any more cannons?
Jealous. Oh, I got cannons. Hunter Brown. Came across an interesting stat. Hunter Brown, first 7 starts of last year, 2024. This is according to Your Daddy 2025 MVP. who, by the way, not exactly off to an MVP start. Hunter Brown's first 7 starts in 2024, he had an 8.89, which was second worst in the league. In his 28 starts since then, he's got a 2.24, which is second best in the league to none other than Paul Skeens.
Heard of him.
So Hunter Brown is in Paul Skeens territory.
That checks
in
out.
that stretch,
That
which
checks out.
Pretty good company to have.
Look,
if I do say so myself. If I do declare.
Don't we remember like getting Justin Verlander vibes from this kid when he first came up? Like people talked about him in that way. Like it looked very similar stuff. A little bit of a fall off, and then I feel like everyone just forgot about him. Kid's good. Kid is good. Good for the Stros. They got to do it differently, man. If the Stros want to stay in consideration, and let's be fair, I think this is a good time for the Astros to kind of go through this trial just because the AL looks fairly soft this year. So they could take a step back from what they've been in the past and still be in contention, but they're going to have to do it differently than the way it's looked in the past. So interested to see. And it's guys like this that have to step up. They have to step up. He's got to be a guy. Jeremy Pena's got to be a guy. Like it's time for the next group to step in and become what they're supposed to be. So
how do you like this nugget? Hunter Brown has not given up a run since the first inning on April 3rd.
That's a nugget.
I'll say that again. Hunter Brown has not given up a run since the first inning on April 3rd.
There's weird stats right now. I love early, but like kind of enough games have passed where stats are starting to get crazy.
I mean, that was 4 starts ago.
I know. Has Jacob Wilson, has he struck out yet?
Was that a thing? I must have missed that.
Was it a strikeout or a walk? He's one of the two he hasn't had yet.
Well, I type in Jacob Wilson and walk was the first result.
Walk.
So
because he's hitting like 340 or whatever, but he hasn't walked yet.
All right, forgive me, this is the top tweet that I'm seeing right now. Jacob Wilson's season, this was April 22nd from Baseball America. Jacob Wilson's season approach so far has been incredible and extreme. 3.7% strikeout rate, 0% walk rate, 92% contact rate, 45% chase rate. He hasn't even seen a 3-ball count. And then I scroll down to the next tweet. Baseball America says the drought's over. Finally draws a walk and brings home a run for the A's. This was April 23rd.
Bases loaded walk. What a stud.
Bases loaded walk.
That's dope. Anyway,
how did I miss that? That's crazy.
Isn't it weird? Like
those numbers are unreal.
It doesn't make any sense. But I like that there's like this strange little chapter that we get in like a month into baseball where like there's,
you're still holding on to these really quirky,
like very strange that things that just you look at it and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But Hunter Brown, anyway, good streak going.
And one last one here for good measure. Not that we have to go into depth here, but Bobby Witt Jr.
Bang!
16 game hitting streak for the kid. You love to see it for the boy. You love to see it for the boy. Friend of the program, Bobby Witt Jr. Part owner of Chinook Seedery.
That's what I was going to say.
Bobby Witt Jr. Shout out to the best in baseball.
We're basically invited to the Witt Thanksgiving this year, so that's where we're at.
Just a little life update. No biggie.
That's where we are at the moment of current. Yeah, kid's pretty good. Kid's pretty good, man.
And that's really all we got to say on it, honestly.
Yeah, I told you there's certain categories of names that just will find a way to impact the game somehow, some way. And his athleticism is unmatched, man.
he go ahead, say what you want about me as a baseball fan here, but like Bobby Witt to me, and I know maybe he doesn't have as much flair as certain people may like or prefer, but Bobby Witt Jr. to me is just like the like quintessential baseball player, man.
I agree.
Plays the game hard, has every tool.
Yeah.
Plays the game right, says all the right things, does all the right things, handles himself well, doesn't get into trouble.
Has drip. He's not super boring.
I mean, come on.
If you were to steal a current MLB or MLB life and swap places.
He got his bag. I mean, he's like we mentioned, he's
that name.
Part owner of a company, Chinook Seedery. Like, what are we doing? What a kid. Yeah. What a kid. I love me some Bobby Witt.
Yeah.
We'll get to see him in Atlanta.
That's going to be sick.
Barring any catastrophic events, but I'm not going to put that out there. We'll see you in Atlanta, Bobby.
Yeah.
Closing the book real quick. Blake Snell shut down from his throwing program after, was it some discomfort? After playing catch on Tuesday, Dave Roberts said he's not concerned necessarily. They're taking precautions. So, there's
no need. Take your time.
Take your time. Literally, as the Shohei New Balance commercial is on my screen. Like
I said, hey, what you got to say? I said, hey. I hate that I know
Get the
that.
commercial off my TV. New Balance, we got now.
Dude, no.
I don't know why I just made Shohei. I don't know why I just made Shohei Latin.
I liked it.
Thank you.
Dude,
it's been years.
Purchased a single New Balance item.
It's been years since I bought something New Balance, but maybe they'll finally get to me. Maybe they'll finally get to me with this commercial. Hey. We need to incorporate that into the show somehow. Like, maybe that should replace our intro song. Just
maybe.
Hey. Joc Pederson ended his hitless streak. Broke his 0 for super predictable headline here. Joc Pederson breaks his 0 for 41 slump last night with a double off a 101 mile an hour fastball from Mason Miller, of all people. Baseball is weird, man. What can I say?
That's the beauty of like hitting is just
stupid, is what it is.
Fine. Throw it as hard as you want. Like most hitters are going to be like, I got you. We're fine. Especially in a moment where you're struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing better when you were playing shortstop and you boot a ball and you're like, at maybe the next game in high school, you're like playing third and you're just like, perfect. I don't have to react. I don't have to think. I just react. Like it's just ground ball. Boom. Got it. So much easier than shortstop, by the way. So much easier.
Yeah.
Playing third was the best. Similar as a hitter, man. It's just like, it'd be nice to just face somebody that doesn't make me absolutely twist myself into the dirt. Like just throw as hard as you want. I'm going to get there. I don't have to think. Just got to do it. Some people are telling Joc to retire, man. Did you hear that? It's interesting.
Yeah, real interesting. Was that you by chance?
That wasn't me. I like that lineup.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, you know what?
What?
No, go for it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like that Jake Berger's grown a beard now. He doesn't seem as chubby than when he was just rocking a mustache in Miami. He seemed chubby with just the mustache, you know?
He did. He was a hefty boy.
Yeah, he looks better now. Drop some LBs.
He looks good. Looks real good. But hey, you know what? We're out of the segment, but you know what? if you're gonna snap your 0 for 41 slump against
Get a
Mason Miller,
cannon.
let's give him the cannon. Joc Pederson. By the way, opponents were hitting 143 off of Miller's fastball this year, so that adds up. And last thing we got here. Have you seen this switch pitcher in the minors?
Which one? What's his name? We've had a few come across.
Dude, you're asking me to pronounce his name?
Yeah, please.
Really? You're asking me to pronounce his name? By the way, you got
I-
called out in the chat. They said no position in baseball is easy.
I'm telling you, third base.
I mean, if you had to rank them, if you had to power rank them,
I'm telling
I love me
you,
some third base, baby.
dude, it's just night and day.
Just reactionary.
Compared to shortstop. Shortstop's sometimes just a miserable place to be.
No. So you're asking me to pronounce the name of the switch pitcher in the minors. Jurangelo.
Nailed it.
Bro, the last name.
Come on.
No, I can't. How would you pronounce his name? Cijntje. Don't even act like you have an answer to that question.
One more time.
Cijntje. That's 4 consonants in a row. I don't even know what sound that makes.
I feel like the J's are silent, right?
Okay, so it's Sinte. Pretty
That's a good
sure
place to
this
start.
is. Isn't he Latin? Sinte. I don't know. Anyway, he's a switch pitcher. First round pick for the Mariners in last year, actually. He's pitching for High A Everett right now. 5'11", 200 pounds.
Look,
He can push triple digits.
that's what I was gonna say. If you're burning a first round pick on something like this, he's gonna be good.
Can pump close to triple digits from the right side, and then from the left, which they said is his natural side. Don't know how that makes sense. It throws from a lower arm slot and sits around 90.
Oh, so it's got like different stuff from each side.
Which doesn't quite seem fair.
That's sick. That's nice. So with the Mariners?
Yeah, High A Everett. The Aqua Sox.
Where's Everett? Washington?
I feel like it is, but let me confirm here. Everett Aqua Sox.
I forgot to tell you, I was at Sloan Park, the Cubs training
Yeah.
facility last week.
Yeah. Everett, Washington, yeah.
Nailed it. We replaced one of their cameras right outside of their clubhouse. It was funny, just like parking in the player parking lot, and you can see like the guys that got paid because you can see the cars, and then you can see like the guys who are very much just like signed there when they were like 16 because there's like a bunch of apartments across the street and they're just coming in on scooters. They're wearing slides and they're coming in on scooters with like
I love
massive
that,
headphones.
I love it.
They're just scootering through the parking lot. Yeah,
Let
that's
these
cool.
kids have fun, man.
They
I'm all
broke.
about it.
They broke. They had a panoramic camera that was hanging off the wall above. It was coming out of their back entrance of their clubhouse, and then the umpire room that was coming out. And they had set up a frisbee golf course, like in the little patch of grass behind center field of the side field.
Love that.
And there's video of one of them just holding on to it too long and it just smokes the camera. Camera falls.
Oh, no.
And then the camera, you just see like it's like dangling and you can see one of the lenses looking at them and they're just like, they walk over and they're looking up at it and there's glass everywhere.
Oh,
It's pretty funny.
jeez.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Anyway, story over. Somewhat related. Right?
Speaking of love, We love you all. Thank you for hanging out with us. Those that are watching and listening live, we appreciate you. It would seriously, it would mean a lot if you all could stick with us this season. If you could subscribe to, if you're listening on audio, if you're in the stream watching on YouTube, if you could subscribe to the show, would mean a great deal. And I speak for Nate and myself when I say that, that it would really mean a lot. Like we've been doing this for a good while, and we're really trying to ramp it up this year. We've got some exciting things coming your way this year. Very much looking forward to that. And we want you to be part of the journey. We want you all to get on board with us and talk some ball with us. We're not experts by any stretch. We just enjoy the game of baseball, and we enjoy talking about it with other people.
That's what I was gonna say. Hit us up. I don't do anything. You run all the accounts. I guarantee you, if you tag us in stories, if you DM us, if you comment, if you share, if you tag us in other comment sections, if you join us in the chat live during recording, we just want to interact. So you get free plugs, man. Come hang out. Tag
plugs.
us, send us stuff. You want to hear stuff? You want new segments? Send it. We don't care. We're open for anything. We haven't talked about somebody? Tell us. We're talking about somebody too much? Tell us. We might listen. I might not. I want to open up the credit cannon.
Like this is going to be a crowdsourced effort as this continues. Like if somebody deserves to be hit with the cannon, let me know, and I'll weigh it amongst the list that I've sort of contrived. But what do you got?
If Aaron Judge is still hitting over 400 this time next week, he needs a cannon. I'm just going to say that.
I know it was really hard to leave him off the list.
I get it. We're trying to dig in a little bit.
I mean, there's guys that are gonna be that, like they're gonna be.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's hitting over 400 and we're in May,
yeah, it's valid.
We got to talk.
No, you're right. I'm just trying to get some of these guys that may or may not be worthy or eligible for the list in the coming weeks. Who knows?
Understood. Same with Paul Goldschmidt, by the way.
I don't know.
He's hitting like 360.
But yeah, to kind of put a bow on what Nate was saying, if you go to games, tag us in your stories. Be like, yo, take. I'm at the game. I'll plug it. I love when you all are thinking about us when you go to anything baseball related. If you're doing anything baseball related,
you got the TV on. You want to show us what you're having for dinner with the TV in the background.
Dude, love that. I'm glad you brought that up. This is a thing we kind of started in our fantasy league group chat, just not intentionally, simply I think just by accident. Like somebody shared what they were having for dinner, and now it's like every day. It sounds silly, but I'm telling you, if you're a foodie and you enjoy food, you like seeing these feasts that other people are preparing as they're sitting down to watch some baseball. So to Nate's point, tag us in a story if you're sitting down with a cold brew and a nice maybe you prepared yourself a nice little steak or a burger or a nice plate of pasta because he's Italian. Then tag us, and I'll post the story because this is a shared experience, and I'm all about it. And we love you all, and we are grateful for you. And as I mentioned, if you can subscribe, we would greatly appreciate it, or whatever it is that you do to maybe help us out a little bit, because the more help we get from you guys, the more we can do this, and that's what it's all about. So thank you all. We love you. That's all I got.
Most importantly, if you buy and or are consuming Chinook seeds, definitely use the promo code. And definitely tag us in that as well, and
tag them because you want to talk about plugs. They love sharing when people are pulling the trigger on some.
They're all about it. They're all about it. That's all I got. Let's party up this weekend. Don't go chasing curveballs.
Let's have a weekend. We love you all. And as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.